in these situations, it should be very clear what the demand will be. And you need to do that homework ahead of time. Because I hate building features that are not successful afterwards. And then we say, oh, we learned that this type of feature is not successful. We wasted 9 months building this feature. And it's treated as a great success. Like, oh, we learned something new. My belief is for a product that's already at scale, that has a bunch of customers, where you're not doing anything revolutionary, you should only build things that you know ahead of time are going to be successful. Because frankly, you can build 100 things that will be moderately successful anyway because of your scale. So you need to build the 8 things that are going to be just amazingly successful. That's going to give you the highest leverage. Now, how do you do it? How do you figure that out? This is where that insight portion comes in. One thing you will do is you will talk to customers. I'll give you a few tips just about this. Most people, most teams go into customer calls with a list of questions. And that list of questions is created by the researcher and the designer and the engineering TL and the product manager. They create an interview guide or whatever, and there are 8 questions, okay? And then they schedule a call with a customer, and they say, we just want 30 minutes of your time. And then there is some politics around who's going to ask the questions, who's going to lead the interview, because the researcher says, this is the job I went to college for, or the designer says, I need to be the one, blah, blah, blah. Now you get on a call for 30 minutes, and there is one customer, and then there are 5 people, or 3 people, right? There is the PM, there's the designer, and then there's the technical lead, or the researcher, or some marketing person. Maybe there's somebody from customer success, because customer success doesn't trust you to be on the call by yourself with the customer. So now imagine this dynamic. We are all supposed to be good at understanding people because we are product people, right? There is the one customer. There are 4 people on the call, and they're asking you some questions like, what is your problem right now with accounting reconciliation and invoice reconciliation? And how many people are doing this right now? You're going through your interview guide. And then maybe just to be democratic, you also said, well, I as the PM will ask the first 2 questions, then you take over and you ask the next 3 questions. We all know where this goes. And yet this kind of thing happens everywhere. I can go on for hours for this, but here's my first observation. In this setting where there is one customer and 4 people, this customer is never going to be honest with you. Because as human beings, we want to impress. Even though we are the customer, we want to make other people feel like we are smart and we are competent at our job and our company is good. So you're never going to get the truth. Second, you are never going to get the real insight that will tell you if this customer is going to adopt this feature in a 30-minute conversation. You need at least 45 minutes, usually an hour. Third, if you rush through an interview guide, which is like we have 30 minutes and I have 8 questions that I painstakingly produced, you are not leaving room for following the interesting things the customer is saying, because you just quickly note it down, or now you use AI to summarize it. So you're like, yeah, AI took care of it. And now you go into the next question, and the next question after that, and the next. You are never going to get the truth. But there is a different way of doing these interviews. What I would refer you to is there's a wonderful book that most people haven't read. Certainly every B2B product manager should read, and every B2B founder should. And actually almost every B2C founder should also. It's called The Mom Test by Robert Fitzpatrick. Read that book. The other book I'll recommend on the demand question is a book called Demand Side Sales by Bob Moesta. It has the word sales in it, so most product people won't read it. But actually it's not a book about sales. It's a book about product. It's unfortunately named. So I would recommend that you read those 2 books. And you can listen to the audiobook if you want. But that will give you a much better view. Because I believe that you can actually figure out the demand ahead of time through customer conversations and some analytics. But you have to have those customer conversations in the right way. And 95% of teams are having customer conversations in the wrong way.